Porn Stars and People podcast. I'm Dan Frigolette. I'm here with my guest,
Glamazon Tyomi.
I told we just figured out what we wanted to say is the intro. So I said you got to do it yourself.
Introduce yourself.
I don't want to mess it up for you. It's too much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing the podcast. I saw you and your husband last year at Exotica doing I came in halfway through a seminar that was about now what are you calling it?
It's called Ride 'em Cowgirl.
Ride 'em Cowgirl. Yes.
Yep. Or for the gender neutral term, how to ride.
Okay, sure.
Because it could be, a woman riding a woman with a dildo on.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a class that so many people have requested because,
Now, who's requesting?
Both.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a female, have you ever felt in your life that you didn't know how to ride somebody?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, when I was a virgin, I remember I had just lost my virginity actually here in New York. And I remember getting duped into an early on Netflix and chill. I was so naive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I didn't know, I didn't know if a guy's inviting you over and, you're going to watch movies and,
I was that way in the wrong sense where I would go over and watch the whole movie. Girl would be like, yo, come over, watch Aladdin with me. And I would watch the whole movie.
Right.
And then realize 2 years later, she was trying to
get it in, right. But see, I was naive,
the
woman in this situation, not knowing. And so this guy, we ended up having sex and he puts me on top and I'm like, I just started having sex.
He just put you on top?
Yeah. He's like, I want you to ride me. And I'm like, I literally just started having sex. It felt so embarrassing to have to tell him, but I prefer to tell him I'm fresh out
this is
of
happening
the gate
right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm fresh out the gate. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so he tried to help me and we both just got frustrated.
Yeah.
So we ended up just switching the position.
But you still finished the deed.
Yeah. And it just felt weird. That whole situation just felt so weird because I felt duped into it, number one, because I didn't know that was the intention.
But you were down.
Yeah,
kinda.
I mean, it was I was down after it was kind of going on.
Yeah.
I may as well just let this happen.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. Because here I am, 19, just fresh into sexual activity.
Right.
And I was so naive back then. Because I grew up in the church though, so my awareness of sexuality was very medicinal and biological, knowing the mechanics of things.
Right.
But as far as enjoyment and fulfillment and stuff
it's
that.
not really in religion, the enjoyment part. That's interesting.
Nope. So it just kind of felt like the first few experiences were kind of stumbling around in the dark.
Yeah. I guess that's what it is for all of us. I waited a long enough time. I was 19 as well. I waited a long enough time where I felt confident and comfortable. I was hung up on wanting to be in love. Mm-hmm. Now, looking back, did I convince myself that I was in love?
Yes.
It was it mattered, right? It was important and it was mattered and I lost it with somebody, but it's obviously that wasn't love. Mm-hmm. But it's better than just letting some stranger do it,
Exactly.
It's interesting. It's funny, man. I had a similar experience years and years and years later. I was hooking up with a girl who's a little younger than me, and I didn't realize what her skill set was or level of experience. And she's trying to go down on me, and then she just gets frustrated and she goes, "I don't know how to do it." And I was and it was multiple things, and it was okay. It's okay, no, don't worry, it's fine. But then it was also oh, we shouldn't be doing any of this.
Exactly.
This is crazy. Yeah. I feel should I cap that with the everything was legal? Everything.
Yeah, you should. I was gonna say disclaimer.
Just to make sure. Yeah, it wasn't that big of an age gap, but I didn't know. But I had no idea. I had no idea that it was.
But see, that's the thing that I talk about often is how, when you do kind of get into that stage of getting to know someone and you're attracted to them and there's mutual chemistry moving back and forth, the one thing that doesn't happen is an open and candid, honest conversation about sex.
Yes.
We kind of just stumble around it. A lot of things are insinuated or assumed.
Yeah, I think this is a big problem with straight people. Because there are roles in the gay community where you go, well, I'm a bottom or I'm a top or I do this, and they communicate about it almost immediately.
Right. You know what? I love that you bring that up because my best friend is gay and
Yeah.
we talk all the time about like his sex life.
Yeah.
And he talks to me like he'll be over here on his like these different apps.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go hook up. And I'm
Right.
like, damn, like y'all just get in there so quick. But literally everything is
You
told
spell it
up
out.
front.
Yeah.
Everything is transparent. Oh, I had a test this day. These were my results.
Yeah.
My last partner was this, and I'm like, wow, how come straight people we don't have that type of like conversation up front?
This is what I felt when I first met someone in the adult industry. There was this weird. We had a chemistry, and there was this kind of like, is this girl trying to date me? Like, it was just weird because I was so naive and I was so young, and I just wasn't sure because I had just all these weird conceptions about porn. But then I started like reverse engineering the discussion, and I was like, oh well, this is a person who knows what they want, who is clearly tested. Like, I was living in New York at the time. It's like this other thing where like just strangers on the street who just aren't tested. Like, this actually could be a much more informed and like open and like clear and safe interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I never hooked up with this chick, but it put a lot of things in perspective.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Who's this cat? Is this your cat? Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that he or she's supposed to be here. She's a lioness. She looks very much like a lion.
It's actually a boy.
He looks very much like a lion.
Yes, he does, and he loves being in the middle of anything that
Yeah,
I'm doing.
this is
yes.
how my dog is. I'm in a weird place with cats. I still don't understand the language of cats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know when a cat jumps up what this is about.
Like marking territory. I
yeah.
think. I mean, I'm married into this cat,
Yeah.
so
Oh, interesting.
my mother doesn't like animals like
At
that.
all.
So I didn't grow up with animals in the house unless they
Does
were
your mom
aquatic.
like freak out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, she
it's
does.
weird when you see that with people. Like my dog,
Mhm.
especially. My dog is like 38 pounds, super tiny, super. Everybody sort of knows that she's like, just by looking at her, that she's like chill and like not threatening in any way. But then every once in a while, like you'll just see a person on the street and they'll just like freeze
Mm-hmm.
and then just sit there. And so it's like, yeah. So I don't know what this means in a cat when it's just trying to shove its head in between my legs. It's like I don't know what that
Stop that.
I don't know what that language is.
Because
Hang on, but this just in
it's
case.
really like him marking territory.
Yeah,
Would you
he's like, oh, this is my house. You can be here. This is what my dog does to people. And then the girls are like, oh, your dog likes you more than she likes me more than she likes you. But it's like,
Right.
nah, this is my house. If you want to be here,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's up.
And he's wow. I just can't. He has no discretion. He loves
Yeah.
everyone.
This is literally what Tess does to people. Except her tongue is not as
Rough.
yeah. What happened here to his ear?
Apparently he got in a fight, a
Oh,
street
shit.
fight, like years ago,
Oh shit.
and he lost. And that's that.
I guess he won though, kinda.
Yeah.
He took some hits, but he's
He's still
he's
standing.
here, yeah. And he's just got this one little. Girls love dudes with scars anyway.
They do. And you know what? He's like a neighborhood legend because
Yeah.
everyone around here knows him.
He pieces out. You let him out, and he just
Mhm.
goes.
Yeah, he loves to sit on the stoop up there just watching the whole
No
neighborhood.
shit.
One day he stopped the entire like casting department of Gotham on the street. They were like walking down the block, scouting
Yeah.
locations for a scene.
Yeah.
And he's just in the middle of all of them, just soaking up all the attention.
What's his name?
Cherry.
Cherry.
Yes.
That's great. So this is the interview now. Because Cherry's involved. All right. So where were we? So we're back. Well, let's go back to where we started, which was the communication is dope, but learning how to ride somebody.
Yes. You know, it's interesting because there's a lot of topics that you can cover in the spectrum of sexuality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to technique
Yeah.
and actually how to like apply the positions, how to stroke, and then how to make sex pleasurable, that's not always very transparent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books out there that talk about like positions and, fellatio and how to do certain things.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen anything on how to ride.
Right. Well, and this is the other thing. It's like, and this is where the communication comes in. It's like things that person A likes doesn't mean person B is gonna like. So it's like you can't break down this thing. Like I have this thing I'm working on. It's never that well received because I think it hits too close to home. Is like if ever you're in a sexual situation and somebody goes, hang on, time out, like go in this position, like I got this move. Like if you have a big move, your move is trash because you're not listening to the other person. You're just doing something that worked one time.
Yep.
So anytime anybody stops production time out. Here, go on the floor. I'm going to do my move. That move is trash.
That move is trash.
That move is trash.
You know,
you got to communicate.
You have to communicate, and literally during sex, especially when you're penetrating, whether it whatever orifice you want, every little micro movement changes it.
Yeah.
Every little micro movement. So you don't even have to do any like big grand gesture, or like sometimes you don't even have to necessarily completely change the position. It could just be like, oh, shift your hips this way, or like just move your leg over a little bit that way, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
But the communication piece is important. You know, if you're just in it for yourself and to get what you want out of it, you may as well just like get a sex doll or like a masturbation sleeve or
which
whatever
is happening.
It is. And you know what? I appreciate it because for those that don't have like skills to communicate with other humans.
Yeah, but this is the thing I go back and forth with about a lot. It's like I had a buddy in college, in high school and college, and he lost his virginity like 14, and he was with the same girl until he was like 19 or 20. Maybe even 21. It was like his senior year of college, and he thought he was gonna marry this girl, whatever. Now she breaks up with him his senior year of college. Now he's senior year of college, and he's never had to figure out how to hit on women, and like acquire sex. Like, so it was like this thing of like it's like if you raise a lion in captivity, he's never gonna learn how to hunt, and so. It's not good that like I hear where you're coming from with this idea that like, okay, somebody doesn't know how to procure and doesn't know how to communicate, then they get to still get off, but like you should have to create those skills.
Yeah, I feel like if you're using the sex dolls as a way to like separate yourself from society, that's not a healthy use of it. But if you're a person that, you know, you can clearly talk to people, you have had sex with women before, and you just want to like have this experience, or if you're just really into that whole fetish and fantasy of like teledildonics and, you know, robots and stuff, then why not fulfill the fantasy?
What is it? Teledildonics?
Okay. Is basically technology that powers sex toys. Yeah. So any sex toys powered by like an app or some type of
I didn't
like
realize
robotics.
It had a word. Yeah. Somebody sent me an article this week that had to do with microchipping and like automated dildos. Yeah.
You know, I'm not that like it's not that deep for me to microchip my hand for like the control of a dildo.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I don't think they were related, but this is like this is on the spectrum of like, yo, we're losing control.
Okay,
because
like, I'm like, you know, real dick is enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know, microchipping, they do have like microchip birth control, and you know.
Is that right?
Like
I didn't know that.
You can put like there's a little insert that goes into your arm, I think, or your hand, and it's like a long-term birth control.
No shit.
I wouldn't do that, but I'm more of a natural birth control person.
Pull out and come on the floor.
No, we actually practice semen retention, which is great.
Okay.
So the fact that he doesn't ejaculate
at all.
Yeah, he'll ejaculate maybe once every 40, 50 days or so.
No shit.
Yep. And if he does, it's like, you know, it usually goes in my mouth. Yeah. So we don't waste it, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I want to high five you for that. I've had a hard time. Yeah, I've had a hard time the last couple years. Like I was sort of lamenting an old relationship where that's sort of like that was the end. I meet a lot of people that I've been dating the last couple years where that's like not on the table.
What?
Coming in your mouth. It's just weird.
You know, because I think just like when you see it in porn, it just looks like this derogatory thing. And it is. Yeah, and so many people have that association with it. But the way I look at it is, especially if this is like my primary partner, yes. I'm consuming his essence, and there's a lot of vital life force in that and energy. So why waste it and just throw it away when I can recycle it in my own body? I mean, there's men that actually consume their own semen. They'll put it in a smoothie.
Yeah, interesting.
And re-ingest it because, I mean, you're losing so much vital life force and like vital nutrients and minerals when you ejaculate.
I don't know if I stand behind this, but I found an old tweet that, you know, they'll do like the memories, and I had an old tweet about I was like, do women find it hot to have to watch men swallow their own semen? And then this is 8 years ago. And then now I know for a fact that this is a thing that people watch.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting
Eating cum.
Yeah.
It's a
Their
whole,
own.
like,
Yeah.
it's a whole.
What is that as a term?
God.
It's not is it pegging?
No, it's not pegging. I don't know like the kink or fetish term for it.
There's a term for it.
But I know there is though.
I hate that I don't know.
But some men like to be made cum sluts, where they are like basically forced by a dom to like either eat their own semen or swallow the semen of someone else.
Interesting.
So
yeah, there's so much.
There's even a semen cookbook out there with recipes for
Somebody had to write it. Somebody had to write it. There's a placenta cookbook. There may as well be a semen cookbook.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
They say it's very healthy to eat the placenta or to reconsume it because then you heal faster and you put those nutrients right back into your body. So
I don't know. I don't know if I would go. It's tough because it's like.
I would make it into capsules. Like I've seen the process. You dehydrate it.
Oh yeah.
And then it basically
it's not like
grind
a flavor
it up.
problem. Yeah.
Right. And then it's in capsules, and now you can just pop them.
It's a very natural thing in nature, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes some sense.
Our bodies are animals.
Yeah. This is the thing. This is the thing that I've been telling people lately, like sort of unprompted. Now I'm in the position where I've been doing a keto sort of diet the last couple years, I guess now. I don't call it keto because it has so many misconceptions with like the fad stuff that people are doing, but it's like we're still, our bodies haven't changed from when we were like nomadic cave creatures. So the way that we ate is still the way our bodies are designed, and part of that is like you're not gonna have food for a while. So our bodies are actually designed to almost not like a bear, but like not eat for periods of time, and then use our own body fats as nutrients and as ways to heal and such, and our bodies actually heal better when we're not eating.
Yeah, because I mean, when your body is using all this energy to process foods, because it has to basically liquefy it in order for it to be broken down into those minerals and amino acids and stuff. When your body is using your energy to do that, then it doesn't have time to do anything else. Exactly. So you have to have periods of fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been reading a lot of different like information about diet and stuff like that over the last few months. I'm actually reading The Plant Paradox right now.
And what is that about?
This like world-renowned cardiovascular surgeon wrote a book about this, about lectins and how they cause leaky gut. And so
a buddy of mine was talking about how lectins cause inflammation.
Yep, inflammation, and it leads to leaky gut because the
what's leaky gut?
Leaky gut is basically where there are like little tiny like I guess rips in your intestinal lining where that you don't absorb.
Break down all the like the hairs in your digestive system, right?
Yeah, because basically it's like it binds to sugars.
Yeah.
And it causes a disruption between like the cellular communication.
Okay.
So it makes it difficult for cells to regenerate and all that stuff. And so it's these lectins that are really causing a lot of people to be sick.
Yeah.
And it's in a lot of the foods that we eat.
And what are the main culprits for lectins?
Unripened fruit, which apparently a lot of the fruit that we eat in America is unripened, but it appears to be ripened because they blast it with these chemicals when it comes off of the boats and stuff.
No shit.
So that when it gets to the grocery store, it can look like it's ready to be eaten.
Yeah.
And then also some of the foods that we eat that we think are healthy, like wheat and corn and soy, they are filled with lectins, and those foods are also fed to like the farm raised animals that we eat,
just to blow them up.
Exactly. And so a lot of the things that we are consuming are filled with them, and it's causing this inflammation, and people don't even know it.
Yeah.
So I'm like literally on chapter 2 of this book. And I'm sitting here like feeling frustrated because I'm like,
I had just gotten done. I felt good. I was doing this thing where I was eating basically meat and veg, and then I'm talking to my buddy, and then basically he's trying to take away most of my vegetables because this thing. Now lectins, correct me if I'm wrong, get broken down when you cook them. So it's more that you're not really supposed to eat a lot of raw and unprocessed. Sort of, and it's like a lectin is like a waxy sort of like, think of like a green bean, right?
It's very sticky. It's a chemical that It's in a lot of grains, it's in a lot of vegetables. It's basically a protective chemical that plants produce
Yeah.
to prevent predators from consuming the seeds.
Right.
So they're babies,
Yeah.
basically. So when we eat this stuff, the way that it like metabolizes in our body doesn't always like break down the lectins.
It stays this. Yeah. It stays the substance.
Now, our bodies do, according to this doctor, you know, he says our bodies do have like defenses against a lot of these lectins, but when you
Not
are
on a massive
consuming
scale.
so much,
Right.
Because literally they're in like most of the things that
Yeah.
we eat. And I kind of like skipped ahead in the book to see
Yeah.
all of the
Sure.
things that his diet has cured, and a list of the foods that are like on the no list. And I'm like,
Yeah. Give us some.
oh, one of them that like really got to me was popcorn. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love popcorn, but
No,
I mean,
so
I've always
been
heard
debating
corn.
Yeah, corn is terrible, but I've been because we've turned it into what with nothing. So corn used to be when it was purple and red. It had antioxidants in it. It had proteins in it, and we took all that out to process it for high fructose corn syrup and basically make it a pure starch. But the what was I gonna say? Popcorn is always the one that's like it's that debate on all of the diets is whether you can eat it. But every time I have popcorn, man, I feel like trash the next day.
Popcorn.
And it's always the next day. I always know the next day, not even at the moment that it's happening. Like that's how my response to my body is becoming. Is that like when I do one little thing. I go off course or off track or whatever I'm doing with one little thing. The next day, I can feel it when I wake up in the morning, and I can, and when I go to the bathroom, it's part of the process, and it just becomes a thing. And it's like on it. It's so strange because I spent 34 years eating terribly, and you always feel kind of shitty.
Right.
So then you don't know how good you can feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know what? And that's the thing. It's like when you're reading a book like this and it's dismantling everything you thought you knew about eating healthy, your ego like gets touched because you're like, oh, this is stupid. I can do this without reading this book. But it's really a humbling experience because then you start thinking about how you used to feel. Because I've had like a long history with like GI tract issues. And to know that I've been basically causing that to happen to myself because of improper eating.
It's so hard in this country. There's very little food in the food.
But that's the
I don't
thing.
even go to the grocery store now. But now you're ruining vegetables and fruits for me because in the grocery store I just go. Like I tell people, you don't go to the middle. You just go to the edges of the grocery store. That's where the food is.
Eating organic and eating locally sourced foods is so important because the one thing he was saying at the end of like chapter 1 is, you are what you eat, and what you eat is what it eats. And so if these chickens and cows and pigs are being fed soy and corn all the time, then you're really eating soy and corn. Like,
that's been the thing with right. So I've been trying to look for, and it's like I try to look for eggs. I try to look for eggs that have been pasture raised, and so that they're eating like chickens are supposed to eat like insects and things. Right. They're not supposed to eat grains at all.
Pasteurized animals. Yeah. If you're gonna eat meat, that's the best meat for you. Is pasteurized eggs as well.
Yeah, pasture raised.
Yeah. Like
and then grass fed beef. But then the more that I find out about grass fed beef is they still finish it with grain, so it's like it's grain finished. Yeah, so it's like so they're trying to get them up to weight 5 minutes before. So like every animal that we eat was like about to die. Did you see this thing? I've been. You from New York?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, you are from Chicago. I was just because of the virginity loss. So that makes you a New Yorker. You lose your virginity.
Yeah, right.
New Yorker now. No, so I've always been a big Wu-Tang fan. The first album that I ever got was Genius Jizza. I just saw. I guess it's not a freestyle. I guess it was a written rhyme. But he did a rhyme about how the animals that we eat are always in this stress. Conflict, their whole life is stress, and then we kill them, and then you eat that, and then you make that meat part of your essence and part of your body.
It's equivalent exchange. It's alchemy every time we eat.
Yeah, so you're just eating. So it's like we're stressed all the time. You're eating something that's stressed all the time, and it's just this process. I mean, it's really interesting because I've been traveling almost full time for the last 2 or 3 years
Wow.
doing comedy. So
Nice.
I'll be in the car. I put 50,000 miles on a car in a year. Like it's nuts out there. But it's like every 4 or 5 miles that I drive, there's cows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't. And then I go to other countries and beef is cheaper. And it's like, why are we paying all this premium for beef when there's a cow there, there's a cow there,
Right.
right? And it's like how far how much of my life do I need to change so that I can fully know where my food is coming from?
Exactly.
And it's not that hard. It's like if I could get a little plot of land, grow some foods, get a couple chickens. It's like I was literally asking people recently. I was like, what kind of land do I have to own to have a cow? Like how much land do I need before I can have a cow? And it's just interesting.
It would be so much healthier for you because
Yeah.
you would know where your food's coming
Right.
from.
Right.
And the other thing is like all this GMO food, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you're feeding
And
the
even-
animals GMO
Yeah.
grains and stuff.
And even the vegetables have all been tampered with.
Yep.
Everything that we eat has been tampered with. The fact that there's like a brand, what are the clementines? Just like a brand name for the clementines.
little
like
oranges.
they got the little faces on them. What do they
Uh-huh.
call them? Because they changed the genetic code of that thing and then they patented it.
Right.
And like
They
Monsanto
created
patented
their own fruit.
Yeah. And then this is the other problem. I spent a good amount of time last year in South Africa, and I'm going to do it again this year because comedy in South Africa is fantastic. And so the big thing that we always hear about from South Africans is that all the best fruit that they grow, because it's more, you know, cause like you can grow year round, gets sent away. So they don't get any of their good fruit. It gets sent away to Europe. It gets sent away to the U.S. So it's like they're always like, oh, well, I got to go to New York to get my South African fruit.
You know, it's interesting because like the first time I went to Europe, I lost like 15 pounds.
No shit.
I came back so slim and I was shocked and I was actually kind of pissed off because I'm like, man, the food we eat here is so
There's
shitty.
no food in the food, man. You try to go to somebody's house and you look in the fridge. My parents, you look in the fridge and you're like, I don't even know how you made it from the day that I left till today. There's no food in any of the food. It's it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like right now been just doing kind of like detoxes for the last month, just drinking like green smoothies.
No shit.
And really realizing how I'm being sustained just by like a combination of a handful of like fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And now with reading this book, I'm like, well, I want to eat to live. Like I don't just want to be putting things in my body because I'm have these cravings.
Yeah, well, and then people in this country especially link food to happiness.
Yep. We identify food with so many other things, particularly like partying and gatherings and acceptance.
How can you go to the movies and not get popcorn?
Yep.
How can you go to a ball game and not get a hot dog? It's like this is a crazy thing. I mean, it's brilliant because it's marketing.
Yep.
It's marketing 101.
That programming.
Like tie this thing to this thing. You can't have popcorn without a Coke. But yeah, like it's so like even just trying to interact on the daily now is becoming hard. People will make it an issue that I will eat in a certain way. Where meanwhile, I can go to any restaurant and find what I want on that menu. It's not a big deal, and I don't bring it up. But then I keep getting baited into these conversations where people are like trying to make me tell them how and it's like, no, it's not a problem. Like we don't have to talk about it. It's not a problem. And then they do this thing where they go, well, I could never do that, and I go, well, I'm not asking you to.
Right. It's like I didn't ask for your opinion, but you did ask me.
Yeah.
So
and also yes, you can.
Right.
You totally can. It's not that hard.
And you know, it goes back to what you said earlier about like not knowing how good you can feel.
Yeah.
And I'm at that point now where I feel like, you know, why not push myself to feel the best that I can?
Yeah.
Why not, you know, listen to what this guy is saying?
Right.
Because I mean, it makes sense when I think about my diet and all the types of foods that I've been eating over the course of my life. I'm like, wow, no wonder I've had a bloated belly for so long. So I'm like, why not try to eat the way that he's suggesting? I mean, I might not eat some of the recipes that he has in the book, but just knowing what foods are off limits and what foods I should be putting into my diet, that's the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I remember the first time I finally felt like I have always in my life felt like a little bit bloated all the time. I've always felt this sort of like this like just stomach vibe, and then it would change. Like it's like I would eat until I was bloated every time, like all throughout life, and it's like like pancakes. So you eat pancakes, and then at the end you're just like in pain, and you don't know why. And it's like I finally got to the point like this past January where I felt like there was nothing like extra. Like it was just like it was skin, and then whatever muscles I have in my stomach, and then literally my stomach. I could feel the organ, and it was the first time I felt that way. And it's like, and I don't want to not feel that way again.
You want to feel connected, like you want to feel like you're doing your body justice, like you're giving it what it needs, because I realize just how important health is going forward, especially with building like an empire and running a business. Like
you gotta stay alive.
My energy has to be high.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing mostly like vegetables and stuff, I actually have more energy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like, you know, when you're like powering through the night trying to like finish a project, you usually get that like hard crash.
Yeah.
I don't usually feel that.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm eating clean and like when I'm eating those things that are actually like giving life to my body instead of, you know, all this stuff. But the inflammation that he talks about in his book, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like this is actually the solution that I've been looking for, because that's exactly how I felt my whole life. Yeah. It's been so irritating, but I'm just happy now that, you know, I know that I'm not alone in that.
Right.
And I can fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. So you said you've been doing mostly green shakes. Are you at the point where you don't feel like you need to eat, like wake up and eat, do this thing and eat? Like I sort of like with the keto part of it, I also like found that intermittent fasting is like pretty important.
It is.
This idea that you're not, that like food isn't like, you don't need to just wake up and cram food into your body. So like all those times that you're not eating food, your body like can find energy elsewhere. So it's like I'll like lately I've been hiking in the mornings, and I'll like people are like, oh no, you need to put something in the tank, and it's like, no,
tea.
Yeah, but it's like if
tea in the morning, and
water,
liquids and stuff,
and then like I was telling
good.
you with the apple cider vinegar, it's like, but it's like you're better off doing the whole thing on your muscles and your, you know, and I don't know, I really did feel like at one point I was thriving in the place where my body was finding fats in itself. And it's like when I eat in a certain way, then I don't wake up hungry, but then when I break immediately, like if I were to be on the thing and then drink a beer the next morning, I just wake up like I feel like I'm like, oh, I gotta eat everything. It's like you just
it's
always
a crazy
feel that way.
feeling. Oh my God, I hate that.
It's like when you're deriving all of your like nutrients from sugars and things, you always feel
dehydrated, like you always need to continue to add more.
Yeah. Yep. I used to eat, this is like, I don't know if it's an Italian thing to do or what. I would like try to eat my stomach aches away. I would like eat something that was wrong, and I'd be like, oh, I just got to shove something else in there to like even it out, because right now the only thing in there is fucking with me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got on this from
Food is a good topic,
from talking about riding, but yeah.
Because you get hungry afterwards.
Yeah, you do get
because you're burning calories.
That's funny. Yeah, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird that, don't put that one there. It's weird that because I keep getting nails. It's weird that
control your claws.
That writing is such a thing that can go so wrong.
Yeah, you know what?
I've felt in danger at times.
You are, because it's literally the number one position.
Like all of me, and you could
break it.
You could break me. Yeah.
It's the number one position that sends men to the ER.
Yeah.
And because, you know, of penile fractures.
Sure.
And people don't understand, like, you know, it's a bunch of ligaments and tissue basically that you're dealing with the penis. And so if it bends the wrong way, that could end it all, you know? And so if you come down wrong, like in your riding, it could hurt you. There's
also this moment where you're both trying to take it to the edge of the game. So it's like you're like on either end. You want to go all the way in and all the way out. So it's like there's that moment where like you catch a little air and you come down wrong and you miss.
Yeah, if the vagina comes off of the penis and it comes back down
and
on it the wrong way.
Oh my God.
It's horrible.
And then the sound effects too.
There are more men that have experienced penile fractures than what they're even aware of. Like just afterwards they may feel like a little sore, like, man, my dick hurts.
Yeah.
dude, you don't even realize
might have broke that
you
shit.
might have had a fracture.
Yeah.
You need to go get that checked
Yeah.
out. You know, that kind of stuff can lead to complications later
Yeah.
in life, you know?
Fuck.
So it's really important for people to know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And I tell women all the time, I'm like, there's a few things you cannot avoid with this. Number one, you can't avoid practice. The only way
Right.
you're going to get better is to practice.
Which dudes love hearing that.
Exactly. Number two, you have to be in shape. And when I say in shape, I mean just fit. Like,
This
you
is
don't,
real.
You don't have to be slim, but the muscles that you use
Yeah.
when that are engaged when you're on top, you have to
You gotta
strengthen
get your
those
fuck muscles right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally your core, your hip flexors, your quads,
Yeah.
your hamstrings.
This is how every interaction ends is, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Let's switch.
Yep.
Like, yo, no, get your
I tell women
get your
all the
cardio
time.
right.
You need stamina.
Yeah.
So you have to practice
Yes.
cardio. So I created a workout around
No
all
shit.
of this that really incorporates like dancing and twerking and
Yeah.
hip isolations and stretching. And from like the very first song that we do, women are like huffing and puffing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's the warm up. They're like, the warm up. I'm like, yeah, I told you this is a workout.
Get it right, yeah.
And I've had so many great reviews from people saying, you know, you've helped me gain more confidence.
Yeah.
My partner sees an improvement. But really, it's the practice. Like, if you're not getting up there and trying,
Yeah.
you're not going to get better.
It's tough because guys don't talk shit like girls talk shit. So it's like girls talk major shit if it doesn't go right. And it's like
Yeah.
I've heard girls talking about other dudes, and it's like it didn't even sound like you give this guy a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard a girl tell me the other day that a friend of hers that clearly is into her. He was a roommate at one point, and he was sick. And he like something was I don't remember why, but he couldn't put his own pants on. So she was putting his pants on, and she was like disparaging this man's penis. And I was like, yo, if I was in first of all, if I was hurt and like pitiful, and somebody else had to put my pants on for me, my dick would not be like
Exactly.
strutting around.
You know what? It's such ignorance on women's behalf, though, and I don't feel like we talk about this enough because women penis shame all the time, which is
it's
body
fucked
shaming,
up.
and they penis shame when a penis is in a flaccid state.
Right.
And I'm like,
That's what I was trying to tell her. I was like, yo, this guy's probably fine.
this guy is actually fine.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of men who don't even get full hard-ons when they're even having sex, and so you don't even realize the full capacity of their penis size.
Yeah.
Like, I talked about that in an interview that I did for Madame Noir and Hello Beautiful that came out today. But that's something we don't talk about enough. It's like, I literally had this experience where a friend of mine, you know, we were like rooming together during a nudist trip, and you know, his penis is out like everyone else's, you know, penises the whole time. And so I'm not judging his size or anything. And even flaccid, I was like, all right, that's a nice, you know, flaccid size.
Yeah.
And so he got an erection at one point, and it was like,
In the thing?
yeah. Well, in our private time.
Yeah.
Got an erection, and it was, you know, a nice size erection. And I was like, oh, okay. Still wasn't judging it.
Yeah.
But then there was this one moment where I turn around and it's just like whooshing, like just like
I like the sound effects. Yeah.
increased in like 3 inches or something, and I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I wasn't fully aroused before, but you did something, and it just kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, this is what I try to say, and it's a hard thing to talk about because just to give it perspective. Not that it's like hard to discuss, but it's like, yo, my dick changes sizes
exactly
17, 18, 19 times throughout the day, and and it's never the same.
It's never the same.
You know what I mean? Like I used to work on this bit about having like a good dick day. Like you just like come home and you're like what the fuck, and then you like you just came home and you're not sure why, but for whatever reason you just like, and then you just stand in front of the mirror and you go because it's like there's nothing better for a dude than having like a nice flaccid dick day, where like it's like a good show day,
right?
You know, because there's gonna be times
like a little chubby, just enough bulge to like make you feel confident walking through the world.
You just got length for no reason, things swinging for no reason. Like it's a good dick day.
Nice.
There used to be like
talked about more.
Yeah, when I remember when the first girl I was like the most attracted to, the first time I had like reached like I don't know, there's this thing with dudes I think where you just sort of you kind of just take what you're given. And so it's like until you actually hook up with somebody that you find like crazy attractive that you think is like a 10, you don't even really know that you can get a 10. So once you get your first 10, then you're in a whole other, like the world just opens up.
That's funny.
So I was talking with this girl, and then just because she was in my life, like I felt like I was walking around with like a 3/4 all the time. I was just like, I was walking around. All of a sudden I was like, I'm gonna wear sweatpants. Like, it's just like it was like that kind of thing.
On.
Yeah, man, it was like there was that kind of thing. I was like, I want people to see the print.
Right.
But it was like, and it's just such a weird, because it's like, of course, if you're like injured and like hurt, your dick is not like he's not showing up for you.
It's not. People don't understand that. Like your blood is only going to flow where it needs
and you
to
gotta
flow.
feel sexy and confident for that to be. I had a buddy who was always worried about the size of his penis. He was my roommate in college, and so he kept running into he was the nicest dude you'll ever meet, and he kept running into a situation where he would like try to hook up with a girl. He couldn't perform because he's in his fucking head, and then everybody would leave thinking that he had this no dick, and I was like, dude, I promise you, you're fine. Like you're totally overthinking this thing to the point where it doesn't make any sense. Like you're creating this. Like if I used to tell him, if you think you have a small dick, you have a small dick, because your tiny dick energy is not gonna not gonna inflame your penis.
Though.
Like it's.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Because your mind is the largest sex organ. So if you're creating this idea in your mind that you're not big enough, then your penis is going to follow suit and be like, well, we're just going to be at like mid-staff. Like we're not even going to get that hard for you. So we'll use the rest of this blood to go to your heart since you're freaking out right now, trying to keep you alive.
Your brain,
the brain is the command center.
Sure.
And so if you're feeling anxiety, and your fight or flight response is activated, and your mental activity is high, you're gonna have a hit in your libido.
Yeah, it's just like the thing with the food. Yeah, your body can only do so many things
at once.
Which is also like in a sense on some level why if we meet somebody who's not like up to our intellect. And somehow they're good at sex, it's because they're not overthinking the thing. They're doing the one thing well, because they're doing that thing to their full capacity.
Exactly. And then they're really in tune with their bodies and being able to be in tune with their partner's bodies. I mean, because communication isn't always like verbal.
Right.
You can get a cue from a person's energy or like looking in their eyes, or even just feeling like the way their heart beats or the pulses.
Like the best interactions I've ever had sexually are where everything is kind of a yes, and not to the extent that we're doing something crazy, but it's like
for openness.
Yeah, if you're with somebody and then you just try to twist them or turn their leg, and they go, no, my body doesn't do that. It's like that you feels
like a shutdown.
From there, you just start to just bump into these communication walls, and it's like every step of the way is sort of like a no, or it becomes this other. It's like you're both doing different dances, and then it just doesn't vibe.
So it's like two left feet, and you have to kind of like pause for a minute and reset and start again.
Yeah.
I've definitely had those.
Yeah.
And
again, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, get on the floor. I'm gonna do this thing, and you're like, nah, we're doing the thing. And let's keep doing the thing the way we're doing it.
It helps when you know that you have time. Where this isn't like some quickie or something that you only got an hour and a half for. Like if you know you have all night to do what you're gonna do, then you can have those timeouts where like you just chill for a minute and talk and reconnect.
What
and
do you
get back into it.
This is a thing that I bump into. What do you say to the situation where it seems like there is, I don't know, how do I say this? There's a limited expectation of how long a guy is supposed to last. So once you break that barrier, then you end up in a situation, especially with somebody new, where they're like looking at you. They're like, "Yo, are you gonna come? Like, what's going?" on? And you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm not." And I try to like put a positive spin, and I go, "Oh yeah, I'm just not done fucking you yet."
Again, that's ignorance, because it's this programming based off of pornography. That the pop shot is like the creme de la creme
Sure,
and the
sure.
thing that you're supposed to aspire to
Yeah.
in sex. And so even for women, it's like if a guy doesn't come quick, there's this idea like, oh, the sex wasn't good, my
Yeah.
pussy wasn't good, or whatever.
Right. I did something wrong. He
Yep.
doesn't like me.
Yep, and that's it goes
Doesn't
so
love me.
far
I'm like,
left.
Yeah, it's like
It goes
are
so
you
far
not?
left.
Somebody asked me. Somebody was like, "Are you not attracted to me?" Like while we're in, and I was like, "Hang
Yep.
on, like do you you can feel me?
And again,
you know that I'm
that's
attracted to you."
it's all programming.
Yeah.
And it's actually a misconception because it's not a compliment for a man to come in to 5 minutes.
Right.
And
Right.
the average man is doing that. And so again, so many women are used to that and they think that that's the norm. And so if a man goes longer than 10 minutes, she's thinking, oh, well, must not be a good experience
Right.
because he hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, if you're anything under 30 minutes, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going to
like-
accept that.
I don't know why I like
not
a
good.
45-minute to hour session. I'm
Yes.
not sleeping with strangers. I'm sleeping with
Yes.
people that I'd like to be sleeping with.
Exactly.
For an extended period of time. So I don't know what would your advice be to men and women who like hit this threshold where a woman is like, well, after 30 minutes, I'm just kind of like she's not interested anymore, or like, what would your advice be to somebody?
Well, there needs to be communication about satisfaction. It's like
Yeah.
after 30 minutes, like, have you reached your orgasm yet? Or do you feel satisfied? Do you feel full? Because if you feel full, I don't have to continue. I don't have to orgasm, or rather ejaculate at this point, because men who have control over their bodies, they can still experience an orgasm
Yeah.
without ejaculating.
Yeah.
That you can completely separate the two.
A lot of times my highest point of pleasure is not when I'm finishing.
Mhm.
Especially at this point in my life. So it's an interesting thing. But then you feel sometimes this obligation to somebody to
Right, because
to
they're
present
programmed.
and to present this thing to
Exactly.
them.
Because they think that you doing that, you gathering every good part of you, because your body is literally pulling every
Yeah.
good part of who you are to procreate.
Yeah.
Your body biologically
Interesting.
does not know whether you're having
Right.
sex for pure pleasure or to procreate. Your
Right.
body only knows when your penis is getting erect and your body feels a desire to have sex, you're going to create another human.
Yeah.
So literally, when you
The survival of the species.
when you
Yeah.
get ready to ejaculate, your body is pulling every good part of you from everywhere to produce another human.
Interesting.
And then as soon as you ejaculate, your body's going right back into producing more semen, because that's what it does.
Yeah.
And if you don't replenish those minerals and those vitamins and amino acids, then it's going to start pulling them from your vital organs.
Interesting.
And so people don't know that that's what's going on in your body, but because we're programmed, because of porn culture, women
Yeah.
think, oh, the indication that this was a good sex session and the sex was great is if he comes.
Yeah.
And if he does not come, that means that it wasn't good and I'm
Right.
not good enough
Right.
and I haven't done my job.
Right. And what color, how much, and all this other stuff.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that was so much, and it's like, yeah, it's this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God, he
crazy.
came so much. That meant that he really felt. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Not at all. Because
Yeah.
if a guy doesn't ejaculate for like 2 weeks,
Yeah,
he's
just-
going to have a higher
Right,
load
right,
than if
right.
he just ejaculated an hour ago.
Yeah.
You know,
So interesting.
there has to be a reprogram of people's minds around this, because like sex that has longevity is actually amazing.
Yeah.
And for, like you say, for couples, for people who actually are interested in each other and emotionally bonded with each other,
Yeah.
those long lovemaking sessions, they cultivate connectedness.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes that can take the place of the other communications, but it's like you do need all aspects.
And, I think
And-
hookup culture has a lot to do with it, because, everyone is all in it just for like quick
Yeah, I didn't realize how
gratification.
bad it was until I was looking at the hashtag Fuckboy Friday today. And,
That's a hashtag.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, Christina Hutchinson, she has this fantastic podcast, Guys We Fucked, with Corinne Fisher.
Oh yeah, I
And-
heard that show.
Yeah, and actually, I should be shouting them out more, because I hear that I get shouted out on their show like every 4. I've never been
Are
on.
you a guy they fucked?
No. But
Okay.
I won't fuck within my own communities. That's what I made that rule a long time ago.
Yes.
I won't fuck people in comedy.
I feel you on that.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
that,
it's important. Yeah, you could
Keep
just
it
so much.
clean.
Yeah, so much shit that can
don't
happen.
shit where you eat.
Yeah, it's just so much that could happen. But it's like, So yeah, so she put Fuckboy Friday on this thing. So I was watching it the other day. So she'll just find these like Tinder interactions
Oh,
that
God.
are like dudes trying to get it in like the first 4 messages.
Yep.
And it's crazy that that's even like a part of society.
They don't even ask you your name.
It's
They
weird
don't care.
it's like I don't even that's why it's like I especially lately I've been like I've been single and I've been like unsuccessful on Tinder, and I was like I don't understand why, and now I kind of understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Is because A, people are on there looking for the wrong thing.
Yep.
And B, I'm not conducting myself in a manner that makes sense to people, because I'm not doing the fuckboy thing.
Right.
And I'm not doing, I guess, whatever the middle of that is, which is some sort of fraudulent version of getting to the same place. I'm actually like
Yeah.
trying to like ask somebody about like themselves and like what's going on in the world, and it's like that gets no love.
It gets
Asking somebody something
no
deep and then
love.
trying to meet up does not get love. Yeah,
Nope.
it's weird.
It's like you have
I
to
don't know how to do
fool
small
them.
talk. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like you gotta fool them with the trickery to
Yeah.
even get to the point of saying, hey, my name is whatever. Like, I've literally had guys just proposition me without even knowing who I am,
Yeah.
my name,
Yeah,
where I'm from, my age, anything like that. Just, oh, are you down to fuck?
right.
You know, or oh, I want to fuck you. It's like, well,
Of
damn.
course you do.
Yeah, I mean, you think that's gonna work?
Right,
Like,
right. That's where I'm at. It's like, of course you do.
What do
Like,
you
we
expect
all
me to
know
say
what this
after that?
thing is. We all know, like you came to this interaction, so of course you, on some level, want to fuck me. But what else?
next time,
What else?
the next time I get a message like that on Instagram, I'm just going to entertain it,
Yeah.
so I have a receipt.
That's hilarious. You know, this was my favorite thing. I was hanging out with a friend of mine in Syracuse, and I was like, yo, let me grab your Tinder real quick. And the goal was to say anything possible to like deter a dude. And I was unsuccessful. And I was foul. I was saying foul shit to these
Yep.
dudes, and they were just fucking. They were blowing right through the red light,
Yep.
and just persisting.
Yep.
And there's it's a two-pronged problem, because it's not just dudes at fault, because there really is this female thing where we expect our women, I guess at this point, and women expect for themselves to just bat away, but then try to cultivate that into interest.
Yep.
And it's like, no, just
That's
be straight up
horrible.
with me.
That's so horrible. Like, literally, guys will badger their way into you just saying something to them.
Well, but it's also that women who are interested in you are batting you away so that you stay interested. Like, this is the weird
Yeah,
game.
this whole like cat and mouse thing, which
Yeah.
has proven that it doesn't work.
It's not good. So that's the thing, is like I ran into the situation where I've never felt more attractive in my life than when I went to South Africa, because women on apps and in life are like telling me that they're attracted to me, which I was like, am I on another planet? Like, what's going on? Because
culture is so
because
different.
it's like, it's just an honest conversation versus like, then I went, and then in the same trip, the second round, so I came back to the U.S., and then the same trip, the next time I went to South Africa, I went to England. And there's something about like these imperial nations and the arrogance of our countries, where women do this thing where they hold it in their pocket for as long as they can, that like, oh, if I let him think or know that I'm attracted to him, or that he is attractive, then horrible things are going to happen.
Yep.
Now,
that fear of rejection, really, and women can't handle. It's so funny. Women are okay rejecting men left
Yeah.
and right, but women cannot handle rejection.
no, it's tough. Yeah, there was the woman that I was dating, and then we stayed friends, and she had this situation where she didn't know whether it was weird, because I've never seen it from this perspective. She was like broken up the fact that she like couldn't figure out whether or not this dude that she was trying to talk to was into her. And she like, it's like this,
women go through that
and
all the
she
time.
didn't want to, she didn't want to put the effort in.
Expose. She didn't want to expose that she was interested in him.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to feel rejected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, it's like, if someone says, no, I'm not interested in you like that, they're not rejecting you. They're just rejecting the idea of what it means to be with you, because they don't even really know you like that to reject all of you and who you are.
Right.
So
And it's like, you're not. This is the hardest one. Is this thing where you gotta love yourself enough
yep.
to even be in a thing. this is so silly because I had like this partial debate with somebody on one of the dating sites recently where I was like, no, you gotta. It was like her contention was that you can love somebody else, because so she had half of it right as far as I'm concerned. She was like, it's a long process to love yourself, and it takes a lifetime, and it's like. And I agree with parts of that. It is a hard thing to do, and it is something that you're always working on, loving yourself. But my side of it was that, well, until you do that, you can't really put yourself in a situation to love somebody else, because how are you ever going to do that? If you can't love yourself, how are you gonna ask another person to do that?
Yep. And love is instant, though. You know, it doesn't take a lifetime for you to recognize or receive love, but people choose to deter themselves because of all the programming that we receive about what love truly is.
Yeah.
So we think that it's like this long discovery, like, oh, we got to go through all of this stuff to find love.
And that it's like once you get it, it's permanent. That's the biggest one I'm finding in my generation is not permanent.
Love is always there. Nothing can destroy love, but the relationships that we experience love through are not always permanent.
And this Disney idea that like true love is a thing, and once you find it, it's done forever.
Exactly.
That's not
true.
We still like try to live in that paradigm,
love
and it doesn't exist.
There isn't just like one love that you obtain and then that's it for the rest of your life. Like the same love that you have for your parents and your peers and your fans and your followers and stuff is the same love that you essentially would have for a romantic partner.
Yeah.
But because society would have us believe through programming that there's different types of love and levels and stuff like that, you have people that conflate like these like identities with what love is, and it's the complete opposite. It's not that at all. And so people really trip themselves up when they are single and they're looking for a partner because of all the programming.
Well, and they think that there's going to be this is the other one, is like they think there's going to be this perfect person and this what's it called, soulmate. And it's like if that were the case, that there's one person that's a soulmate, what are the chances that they're in your city? They're not going to be in your city. This is a big ass planet.
My soulmate was not in Chicago. I knew that a long time ago. Right. My mom told me, my mom was like, I told you your husband was not here. I was like, I knew that, but I always felt that he was here in New York. Shit. I was always drawn here. Yeah. So like, you know, we have multiple soulmates. We have a soul tribe.
Right. We also have this thing. There's something to be said for actually committing and trying, and we don't do that anymore, because I have an app in my pocket that I know I can find somebody. And I can set parameters. I can decide today what ethnicity they are, what age they are, how far away from me they are. That's not the better solution.
No,
right?
It's not.
Like I'm almost to the point where I want to start advocating for arranged marriages. Because if you really want to get married that bad, you can make it work. That's my Italian people. That was the thing. You found somebody in the neighborhood. Like it was like, that's not your soulmate. That's just somebody who lives nearby. Like there's only 6 girls that are your age. You got to pick one, and you get married. And you start a family, because that's what the value was, and that's what the goal was, and the importance of it. So if you want to do that, you should do that. But if you don't believe in that, if you don't believe in that process, then you shouldn't be trying to plug the rest of your life into that same model.
Yeah, because most people do. They think that that's how it goes. Oh, when you get a certain age, you're supposed to settle down and get married and have kids and stuff. And that may not be like, be the blueprint for your life.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
Like the most annoying thing when you get married is people asking you, so when are you going to have kids?
Right. You got to hit the steps.
It's like, goddamn. I just met this man who I've been searching for my whole life. Can we just enjoy chilling and traveling the world without little rugrats running around?
I just met my other half. Now I gotta bring in a child. Now I gotta bring these other people in that are gonna fuck up our relationship.
Yeah, it's true. And so we're in a rush for that.
And I think we're in a place now where people are comfortable. I dated a girl who like knew for sure she wanted to have kids, but wasn't sure if she ever wanted to have a marriage or a husband, which was an interesting like self-awareness, you know. And I think we are at that point, especially now, where we know that we can raise a kid as a single person, or if we have the other partner, them not living with us actually makes it easier. It's like you get, because then you get breaks. It's like just like anything else. Like, you know, every aspect of life for a human should have these periods of like immersion, and then like I don't know, atrophy, like not fasting to not eat reprograms your body to do the things it's supposed to do. It's the creative process. Immerse
Right.
yourself in the problem, then get the fuck away. And then when you're like off fishing, you like come up with the idea.
Exactly.
It should be the same with every aspect. It's like, what's the point of having two people in a situation if they're both not contributing to the scenario?
Exactly.
And that contribution should maybe be separate.
Mm-hmm. And it's all about, it goes right back to like, why? Like, what's your purpose for being together? Most people just kind of get into relationships on the default of having sexual chemistry, or some type of physical attractiveness.
Or I'm alone, I need to be with somebody.
Yep. Or that whole motivation of like feeding your ego.
Yeah.
Because it's the ego that suggests you're alone and you need somebody.
Right.
When yourself, like, you're enough. You got everything you need within you. And so when people are running on default, it's like your relationship is a vehicle. It's taking you somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you don't have like a set destination or a purpose for why you're together, then you're going to end up in shipwreck. Your relationship is going to end up fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's always going to end in like despair and pain, because at some point there's going to be a compromise that has to be made, because there's just so many assumptions.
We don't do the
communication's cut.
just like with sex, and this is the same theme. It's like we don't communicate enough.
Nope.
So what happens is
Everything's assumed based on the conditioning and the programming that we
right,
receive
and
for how
that like
relationships
we're going to
should
be reading out of the same book, and
Exactly.
it's like no. It's like I sat down with a young lady a couple years ago, and we went like kind of point by point on what we both wanted, and developed what was a very different relationship that didn't really have a label that other people are aware of, and we broke down the points, and it ended, but it was the same thing. It was that one of us didn't match up to the thing that we either said we were going to do or promised we were going to do, or we were sort of not that clear about how important this one aspect was. So it's like every relationship, you can't just go, we're together now. You gotta like almost sit down, like almost like a contract.
Yes, you do.
And
you
like go,
do.
these are the 25 things
you do
that I need from you.
We did that. It's on our wall right there.
No
our
shit.
Purpose.
Oh, that's great.
Listen, I met my husband on a Spirit flight to Chicago, and
That's the only thing good about that flight, because Spirit's not.
hell, exactly. You already know. So we ended up riding the train together into downtown Chicago, and he ended up introducing me to a book that he wrote called Love Is Not a Game, a manual for loving relationships. And literally
How long you been together?
We've been together for for a year and a half now.
No way.
So literally.
So when I met y'all last year, that was brand new.
Yep, it was
No
brand
shit.
new. We had just met because you met us in Jersey, right?
Last year, November.
Oh yeah, so we had just
and I
gotten
didn't really meet y'all.
engaged.
Yeah.
We had
No
just
shit.
gotten engaged like a week before Edison's show, and I had just met him in April last year.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, within 2 months of us meeting, we were already traveling internationally, like down in Jamaica and stuff like that. But literally within like a week and a half of us meeting, when we finally got on the phone to talk to each other, well, he told me in an email before, like the day after he met me, like, I don't believe we met by chance. I feel like,
No shit.
we've been brought together to help each other heal. And I'm like, yeah, I believe that too. So the very first thing he did before we started reading his book together, because he offered me to like read it with him, was we created our purpose for why we are in this relationship. And that is the anchor and the glue that keeps us together.
This is what I love so much about this podcast, and I don't know, what's going on with the fan base and whether or not they connect, but there's just something about the people that I meet in this field that I think understand relationships on a higher level. And it's crazy, and it just sucks that there's such a taboo associated with being sex positive. And being, I don't know. I mean, we're especially now with people honing and owning their own audience base. It's like this idea that everybody in this industry is being exploited and mind fucked in some way.
Right.
It's just not the case.
It's not. And when you say that people that you meet understand relationships on a higher level, that's the truth, because the way that he and I interact, it's like I have been waiting for someone who is just as sane as me in thinking about relationships and actually living it out. Because I've had people who've run away from me because of my ideas and stuff like that. But the one thing I told myself was when I met him, I can no longer compromise on what I know I need for myself to be in a healthy, happy, vibrant relationship. So I told him, I was like, listen, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm not monogamous.
Yeah.
That's something I'm not into. It's just, I've tried it and it's just not for me. And it's not about like fucking the world. It's just about having the freedom to interact and show love to people in whatever way that
and
is.
have if you have a conversation with somebody and you connect with that person, wherever that goes, have that not in some way be a thing that you need to hide from the other person.
Exactly.
And have it not be a thing that's now naughty.
Exactly.
Because we live in this other thing. It's like in these jealousy environments, it's like it's just so much dishonesty. It's so much omission.
Yep.
And it's very, I hate to just break it down and just call it toxic, but it really
is toxic.
It poisons the whole interaction.
It's absolutely toxic.
It's like just because you have an attraction to somebody and it might not go very far.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you don't feel a certain way about the person that you've devoted your time and invested your whole relationship into.
Attraction does not change love.
Right.
And people conflate the two. They think that because you're attracted to someone.
Because you want to fuck somebody else. Of course you want to fuck somebody else.
That's a natural biological desire.
And it's weird because
healthy.
they do this weird thing in the suburbs. I don't know if they do it out here, but they do this thing where the what is it called? It's called like the hall pass. Like it's like if you see Justin Timberlake, and they live in this world. It's like I always call it like the suburbs and like just like the because it's like you live in this world where like obviously your wife is never gonna be like in an interaction with Justin Timberlake. Like you make this rule that's like so fucked up that like if you ever like meet Justin Timberlake you can fuck him because you think that that'll never happen. But it's like I live in the world where and I was trying to do this as a bit, but people just didn't like the terms. But it's like I live in a world where if I want to fuck Justin Timberlake, I can fuck Justin Timberlake. Yeah. And it's like a weird example because obviously because I'm a straight dude.
Right.
But it's like that's just a weird way to view society. Is that like it's almost like
you can only have a sexual attraction to someone and do it if it's the most impossible thing you could ever think of happening. Versus if you have an attraction to the milkman or your banker, there's no way you could possibly fuck them because they're so accessible, and then it doesn't make it right.
Right.
It's really backwards, and
managing jealousy is the greatest thing that people in this industry are capable of. Like removing jealousy from your life makes everything so much better.
Yeah, because like first of all, what I know is that my husband's attraction to someone else or my attraction to someone else or us having sex with other people doesn't change our purpose. Right. It doesn't change why we're together, and it doesn't change what brought us together, which is love. Right. So, people are going to come and go. Relationships are going to come and go. Attraction's going to come and go. But what's not going to change is why we've been brought together and our purpose. Like, he's my greatest lesson in his life.
These are I love everything about what you have on the wall, and I hate that we're running out of time. Can I ask, you have 2 beds?
Yes.
Y'all sleep separate?
No. One bed is like my bed. It's my little bed because I'm a little. Yeah. And so we have this like daddy baby relationship. It's like a dom sub kind of age play thing. And for me, like, I grew up with a twin sister. I never really had my own stuff. Yeah. So I had to share everything. Everything had to kind of like be the same. And I always told myself when I was younger, I never wanted to forget my childhood. Yeah. So I've kind of always been a little. I just didn't know what it was until I stumbled upon this in like the kink world. And so that's basically like my space. So even if he wants to join me over there, I have to like give him like I have to invite him and like say,
so how
often come here.
How often do you guys spend the night separate?
Not often. Most of the time he's there with me. Yeah.
But the freedom is there.
The freedom is there,
which somehow it's the same thing. It's almost it's like the same concept of with an open relationship where it's just about communication. It's like the freedom is there to get with somebody else, but it's like most of the time you'd rather just be with your person
because I mean they get you. Yeah. I mean,
because like the worst is like you get in a fight. now you got to do this thing where you're like, you go sleep on the couch. Like this is like a big power thing that people do in relationships, or it's like you're mad and it's just like it becomes impossible to sleep next to the person because like you're not dealing with the issue
because
and
they become your enemy.
Yeah, and to have this separate bed, that's brilliant. I really like. Again, the same thing is like I have this vague idea about how having two beds is just it's like a better, like the old idea like of like grandparents and like they each had their bed, they had the twin beds, and it's like it's just something good, and then it's like on the anniversary they push the beds together. Something like there's something nice about that. You know what I mean? Like having your own space and being your own person, because like being an individual is the most important part of a relationship.
Yes, it is, and people forget that. It's like they think that when you, and I literally was watching this on the talk yesterday while I was in the gym, and the women were saying that you lose a bit of your independence when you get married, and I was like, fuck that.
You don't have to.
I don't believe that for myself.
But they do. But
a
that
lot
happens.
of people do, because it's like they think they have to give up something and make compromises and sacrifices in order to be with this person, because now it's not just you, it's both of you. But the truth is, it's still you both as individuals coming together to live your lives parallel.
Well, I think the problem is, right, is like, so it's a complex piece, because what happens is when two people start to aim in different directions, and then it tears them apart, it becomes a problem, right? But it's like, but you can still be individuals and like you said, glide along in parallel fashion, as long as again, it's just all about
knowing what your purpose
what's going on. Yeah.
If you have that solid foundation, and you have this awareness of why you're together, it doesn't matter what your interests are. It doesn't matter if your attractions are separate. That purpose is going to ground you.
Yeah.
And, because of course you and your partner are going to have different interests. Of course you're going to be attracted to different things. And as you grow and evolve in life, that stuff is going to shift as well. So you have to have that anchor.
That's the main point, I think, for me, is that the person that I am today is not the person I was. Like, I look at some of the foolish things I was involved in my early 20s, and I wouldn't want to hang out with that guy.
No.
And it's like, so why would I expect that a woman in my life would want to be with the same guy that I was when I was 24 as I am when I'm 35? It's just an interesting thing. So we need to understand that we change as people a lot. And that's where I'm stuck, is the permanence of monogamy, because what happens is now you're a different person. Why should I assume that you're the person that's going to go with me the entire journey?
Yep. And
that's scary.
It is scary, and there's so many assumptions that are made with monogamy, you know what I mean, that I think that people don't even flush out. Because I say this to my husband all the time. I'm like, when people get together, it is automatically assumed, oh, we're going to be sexually monogamous, and we're going to be romantically monogamous.
Yeah.
And then that monogamy is a completely different, like, perception for each person.
Right.
Everybody's definition of monogamy
why
is
are you
so
texting
different.
This girl that you work with?
Right.
And it's completely, you think it's completely innocent, and it's not on her end.
On her end, but it is completely
innocent. You know where your heart's at, but you can't even explain that to another person. Yeah.
But that sounds insane, though, because think about it. It's like, this is not monogamy. This is a plantationship. You seem like you are a slave owner, because I can't even freely do what I want to do with my phone and innocently texting somebody who's a colleague.
Well, and then there's the other one where it's not innocent, and you just you pretend like it's innocent so that you can
it's innocent, period, because attraction, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And expressing your attraction to someone else, nothing wrong with that. But in the confines of what your romantic
you've decided that this is the
is.
thing. You're texting a guy that you get something from, and you know in your heart of hearts that you're getting something from that. And then in this monogamous relationship that you've decided, this paradigm, there is no other things.
And it's not discussed, though.
Yeah.
It's not discussed.
That's the problem. See, this thing where you come home and you go to your wife or your boyfriend or your husband, and you go, look, there's this somebody at work. Now, in a normal situation, well, there's not allowed to be this somebody at work. You're not allowed to be attracted to anybody else. So this whole ship has sailed. This thing is over. Versus the one where you come home and then your husband goes, well, tell me about him. Like, what's the deal? Why are
You're
what is
discussions about your attractions.
Yeah.
And think about this.
Sometimes it goes away because it's not like the forbidden fruit.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
It's a thought, and it's natural. And see, if people like you said earlier, if you would come out with your contract and you say, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to be together and these are things that I'm expecting. I don't want you to be texting or calling
Yeah.
anybody that you have any remotely like attraction to, because I view that as cheating. I don't want you making comments on other people's photos on social media, because I view that as cheating.
Yeah.
If people were to come out with a full list of their expectations, they would sound fucking insane and no one would ever be with them. But they're not going to do
It's
that.
interesting because I wasn't so sure where you're going with this. You're like, if those are reasonable things or not. Because again, now I'm in this position where I'm interviewing people in the adult industry and people that are sex positive in a lot of ways, and so I know that when they put something up on the internet, like there's a just like your girlfriends when they go, oh babe, you're so sexy, like they comment on shit. I'm doing that to these people that I've interviewed. I'm like, yeah, I was like so hot.
Right.
And it's like, that's a hard thing for a girl that I now try to date to understand, is that like you're hitting on all these porn
That's
stars,
her
whatever.
own insecurity.
It's like no, this is like, it's the same thing as like laughing at my jokes. It's the same exact. I'm giving them like this I don't know, the approval and exactly what they're looking for, and I'm like positively,
for
pushing
you to have to
thing.
explain yourself to somebody who claims to love you is ridiculous. Like that you have to explain you showing love to other people online and encouraging them. The fact that you have to explain that to someone just to not hurt their feelings or for them to feel comfortable, that's you feeding into the ego, and that's a fucking compromise, because you're not doing anything wrong. And most people don't even realize just how insane they sound when they say stuff like that. But it's not their fault, and they're innocent too, because they've been programmed.
Right.
They've been programmed to believe that there is something wrong with someone that they're attracted to showing love to other people.
Right, because we believe in the yin and the yang, that
It goes back to that whole Disney thing you said, the one, right? Yeah,
and that's it.
Oh, if you're talking
there's only
to
one girl
me,
that's gonna make my dick hard for the rest of my life.
Right.
Not,
yeah, okay.
Listen,
I don't want a body. Okay? I don't want a body. If my body is only going to be turned on for one person, fuck that.
Yeah.
I will give this body up, okay?
It's interesting.
It's like we are infinite beings having a human experience through a body, and we mistaken having bodies for being who we are, so we put limitations on ourselves and think like, oh, it's just going to be black and white, 1 and 2.
Right.
That's it. And it's like, well, aren't there more like burger joints than just McDonald's? So why do you think like in life?
Is Burger King calling you being like, yo, why you at fucking McDonald's right now?
why the fuck I see you at Wendy's with the 4 for $4? Like, why
I was on your Instagram. I saw you were at Five Guys. So don't you bring that shit around here. There's no more Whoppers for you. You don't get this Whopper anymore. Over there eating that fucking milkshake ass place. No, it's funny. Okay, let's we're like over an hour, which is great. I just think people lose interest after a certain period of time. Let's circle back on a couple things that I kind of had. So one of the ones was, and I never really even thought of this as an actual thing, but I know this to be true, is you were talking about not even being fully aroused and having sex not even fully aroused. I think some of my best fucking is done at like 80%. Like 100% is painful.
You know what? That's so interesting that you say that, because I often say, like, with my sexual energy, I'm not always like giving 100%.
Yeah.
Because I know that because I'm very I practice and I cultivate my sexual energy, I can blow people out. Yeah. So I'm not trying to break anyone. Right. So I'm going to perform.
This is a scrimmage.
Yeah. I want to perform at the level where everyone's comfortable, where I'm not going to be exerting too much force and energy that's going to like blow them out. Yeah.
Well, also, you don't want to roll an ankle either. You know,
nope,
it's like
exactly.
you got like, it's like LeBron's not giving 100%.
No, he's not every game.
He's giving 80 to 85. Right. And non-playoffs, it's like 60. He's that much better.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't trying to give your all the time.
That's like Goku being Super Saiyan in every fight. Like, come on, you just can't do that shit. So
I like this analogy. This is great.
I feel you that.
I think my best fucking is done at 80. I think 80, 75 to 80.
And I've experienced that where guys are like, I'm not even really like fully hard right now, and I'm like,
because you need honestly, you need a little bit.
You need some give.
You need a little bit of give.
You need give.
Yeah, you need a little, and because you need to be able to, especially if you want to hit proper positions, you got you got to have some malleability.
Oh my God,
Things got to flex.
This needs to be spoken about more, because those super rock hard dicks don't
It's
move,
not good.
and it's not
Yeah,
good
it's
because
not good.
the
It's an
wrong
injury.
move can
Yeah.
cause an injury.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when you are, I call it the chubby, like when you still have a little bit of
Yeah.
softness, like the gumminess, that's great because you
Yeah.
can flex.
Right.
Especially now back to riding, that's really important
Yes,
because
that's
if
what
a
I'm talking about.
guy,
If you're crazy hard and it
if
goes
you're
riding,
super hard,
you
can
fuck up.
fuck yourself
You can
up.
fuck it up.
Yes.
I have some control. It doesn't sound good to be like, yo, I got all this dick control, so I gotta scale it back. I have some
You better
control.
be proud of your dick control,
right?
man.
I got some good dick control. But so it's like, so I know when it's time to turn it up.
Exactly.
Like I know when it's time, like when there's certain positions where I really want somebody to feel me and like feel all of me. And it's like, yeah, and it's like then
Yes.
but I can't even
That's sexy,
I don't even
though.
really come at 100%. Like
That's
I want to
sexy.
come at like 70 to
Right.
80%. Like
Because
that's
it's
where I
always
want to be.
comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's sexy when a man can say, I have that much dick
Spring.
control that at this point I can expand myself so that you feel me.
Yeah.
And I've experienced
It's a
that.
little bit of ego, right? It's
That-
a little bit of showing off, right? It's
It
a little bit,
is.
but it's also like, yo, this is how attracted you make me this hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
just something hot about that.
It really is. And
It's like it's the same notion. It's like if you were the girl and like because I've been with girls that get so wet and so lubricated and so like where it's like a viscous, like I can see the product and it's like we're making a mess and that's so hot.
Right.
It's like, yo, she's so into
because
me.
you know that she's open and
Yeah.
like there's no reservations. It's
And-
like she wants to be here. She wants to be doing this.
And it's like you said, it's like everything is going into this one thing.
Exactly.
She's not
you know
anywhere.
that her
head's
head
not
isn't
somewhere else. She's right here.
Exactly. Because the minute a woman starts drying up, she's in her head. Like
Yeah.
something's going on, or
And
like
then I'm in
something
my
in
head.
the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, I mean that's like basically your
It's
body
tough.
affirming.
It's really hard to just go, we can stop because the amount that you hurt somebody emotionally if you just go,
They hurt themselves because you don't
It's
hurt
true.
them.
That's
Because
true.
you're not saying anything that's wrong.
That's true.
People's
But
perceptions
they
hurt
get,
them.
yeah, they
they
get
get
hurt.
touched.
And it's like I've been in situations where I wasn't gonna come, and I go, hey, I'm just not gonna finish, and I don't. There's been situations where like the relationship couldn't rebound because they took this so internally.
Yo, if someone is that sensitive that they take someone's decision to like preserve their
Yeah.
body and do what they want with their pleasure personally, they don't deserve to be
That's
in a
fine. Well,
relationship
that's
romantically at this
That's
point.
true. I think there's a little bit of truth to that, but then there's also the sense that like we all need to be growing as people all the time.
Yes, we do.
And we're not done.
And
like
that's a
and your
lesson.
move, and that's the other thing, is your
Yeah.
move, like this move that you have, nah. Like you need to grow and figure out what y'all's move is.
Exactly.
Because it's like this one, it's not gonna nothing is universal.
Nothing is universal.
And nothing is forever.
Exactly. Because, I mean, it's so funny how people just think like it's supposed to click. It's supposed to be natural.
Yeah.
Like when you meet somebody and you have this chemistry,
This shit is
everything
work.
is just supposed to work. Right. It's work. You have to put in practice. You got to communicate.
Why would it take work to become the best at anything, but it doesn't take work for a relationship? That's crazy.
Exactly. And then people think that it doesn't take work to be good at fucking. Like,
It takes work.
it takes work.
What's your workout called?
How to ride or Ride 'em Cowgirl, whichever one you resonate with.
And that's the workout too.
It's a workout.
Oh, okay.
Listen, in all of my classes, in all of those descriptions, I always say bring water,
Yeah.
wear yoga pants, bring a yoga mat. And they're
No
like,
shit.
why do we need a mat? And I'm like, you're working out. There
Yeah.
are no dicks involved in this. This is us moving our bodies.
Yeah.
And when they're going through it, they're in pain, but then they're grateful afterwards, especially when they practice regularly. I mean, even me, I do the workout.
Yeah.
Often.
I've been in situations where I got out of shape and
God.
it fucks up the bedroom.
It does. I like when I'm like heavier than what I normally am comfortable being. I don't like to be on top. I don't like to get into certain positions.
Yeah.
I even get winded just walking up the stairs.
Right.
So my stamina is like lower.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I started like looking into health too, because I'm like, I love sex too much for my sex life to be affected by
I'm
my
not,
weight.
Yeah, I'm not, and it's also like as we get older, we're like, what am I gonna do? Just not be good at this for the rest of the time? What am I just gonna have to like? It's gonna have to be all like fetal spoon sex for the like? No, like. You gotta rise to the like.
I
you
like
get better, or you get worse.
I like
No, it's great.
sex,
it's one of my favorites. No, it's
not
so good.
as like the only thing.
Yeah, it
you know
can't
what I
be
mean?
it.
Because
That can't
that's
be
literally
it.
what it results
Yeah.
in. Because especially as men, you guys are expected to be responsible for like 90% of the stroking, right?
Yeah.
So your back has to be in shape.
Yeah.
Your abs have to be in shape. If you have hips that are like stiff and locked,
Yeah.
then even your sexual energy is going to be stagnant. So
Right.
working out and like some form of fitness
Just
is
jerky.
important. Like oh god, the jerky stroke.
It's like the
It's like
what's that little ratchet ching
Oh, yeah.
ching 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 ching. Yeah.
so yeah, fitness is important, and I just feel like we are in this whole like body positive, arena right now where it's like, oh, don't body shame anyone. But what I'm all about is like, I don't care if you're 350 pounds. If you can move that 350 pounds and have stamina and not feel winded after like 10 strokes, then you're fit. You're in shape. You know what I mean? But you can't think that if you're unhealthy that your sex life is going to be popping.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
Because if you have high cholesterol, your body's not thinking about sending blood down to your genitals so that you can experience an orgasm. Your body's like, your heart needs some help right now.
Right. Well, it's funny too because you gotta be mentally healthy too to be.
Yes, you do. Because mental health and even like the medications for people like antidepressants and stuff like that, it hits your libido.
Yeah.
Again, your brain's the largest sex organ. So if chemically things are out of whack in your mind, or if you're putting extra pressure on your mind with anxiety or depression or anything like that, your body's not thinking about sending signals and chemicals to your genitals to get them ready for sex. It's like, we're just trying to keep you functioning, period.
I feel like the theme of this whole thing is that like your brain can kind of do one thing.
Yeah.
So do that thing good.
Your
Focus
brain,
on that thing.
Your brain is the command center.
Yeah.
It controls everything.
Your body does one thing at a time.
Yep.
And we pretend that that's not true, but it's the more you read about the human body, it's very true that your body's trying to do one thing really well at a time.
Right. Think about like
that's what the digestion one is. Like your 80% of your resources go into trying to break down that peanut.
Exactly. And it's funny because it's in the book. It said 92% of people have like this receptor that basically like a sensitivity to or an aversion to peanuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, 92. I'm like, so I love peanut butter. I've been eating like peanuts all my life, and I'm pretty sure I fit in that 92%.
Yeah. It's so fucking good though.
Yeah,
I don't feel good
love
anymore,
peanuts.
but it's so good. Wait, do you want to shout out the book? I don't know if that's shout out the book real quick.
Yeah.
That's a nail. I'm getting nailed. What's his name again? Cherry.
Okay. So the book that
In
we've been
my
talking
thigh.
about this whole time is a New York Times bestseller.
Paradox.
Yes. The
By
Plant
Stephen
Paradox by Stephen Gundry. He is a medical doctor, one of the world's most renowned like cardiovascular surgeons, and he has cured a lot of ailments with his diet. And so
I'm gonna check this out.
You should.
How do we find you on the web and whatnot? We want you guys to go to Exotic every year and check out.
Absolutely.
Your things.
You gotta come to Exotica if this podcast is out before next weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out on Sunday.
Oh, sweet. November 2nd through the 4th in Edison,
4th.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's actually our biggest show. And Coolio is going to be performing on Saturday, which
I
I'm
didn't know
super
that.
excited about. Yep, Coolio's in the building. So,
No shit. On the main stage or in your or in the
main stage?
No shit.
Yep. So that's going to be fun. But you can find me on Instagram at Real Glamazon Tyomi. Check out my blog site, glamorerotica101.com, and my website, sexperttyomi.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Glamazon Tyomi, and just put in Tyomi Morgan or Tyomi period in Google. Tyomi. You can find all of my social media, different articles and features and advice and all that stuff online.
You got a good brain.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this podcast. This is the Porn Stars of People podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all the places you find podcasts. We're there. We got some fun content tonight from YouTube with Cherry trying to just inject claws into my genitals. So that's fun. So check it out. Check out the you and your husband.
Yes.
At the what's the it's called How to Ride.
Yes. So one of my classes I'm teaching at Exotica is how to ride. I'm also teaching how to spice up your sex life. I'm teaching sexual communication and then sex positions. So 4 classes over the course of 3 days.
A lot of good information.
Lot of good info.
Clearly, it's 2 people that get it in this podcast. So come with your questions. Come with an open mind. I think that's what we need to do, especially as adults, is keep an open mind about everything. And we're starting to shut down, and let's stop that process.
Oh, one more thing too. If you guys want more advice about love, sex, relationships, and money and God, we actually have, my husband and I have an international church online, and it's interactive. It's called Real Love Church. So you can check out our website, reallovechurch.org.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank
you
for
guys for
having me.
listening and watching.